We're being open and honest, no judgment zone here, okay? Thank you so much for coming to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for coming to my channel. If you are a returning Serenity Within family member, hey girl, hey, thank you for coming back. So in this video, we're doing something a little bit different. I am actually about to be very, very vulnerable in this video. I have no idea exactly how this is gonna go. I prayed before I did this video and I said, you know what, Father, I'm gonna leave you in control of this video. Let it be the outcome that you want for this video because I have no idea. So I am just going to let you do your thing, Dizzle. That's all I can do. So we're not really focusing too much on the products that I am going to use. I just wanted to be open and honest, and the first person I felt like I had to be open and honest with was God himself. And this is going to be a very spiritual, well, I don't want to say spiritual, I want to say spiritual, a little bit of motivational. I wanted this to be as raw as I can get it with very few edits because I want to post this for tomorrow's video, and tomorrow's March 1st, so this is the last day of February. I was really hard on myself, not doing the things that I truly desired, not living the life that I truly wanted to live. You know when you doing something but you didn't really get that answer from God, so now you're just doing a whole bunch of stuff but you just feel incomplete. And I'm already getting hot, so I may have to put this fan on the floor so you don't hear it. I really hope you don't hear it, but if you hear the fan, I'm just hot, okay? I don't even know where to really begin, but in February, I felt like a lot of myself was done. Like, I can't really explain how I just felt so incomplete. I just felt so incomplete. I felt really inconsistent. I didn't feel like I was following God. I didn't feel like I was obeying him. I really felt distant from him. And it's not that I truly wanted to be distant from him. And even though I was putting God first, I felt like this February was just really tough for me. February was a hard mental time for me. And then especially going through a lot of stuff that I just recently went through when it comes down to the money that was lost from New Orleans, then this house, then these great PRs, then just this health situation that I have been facing. So it's just been like a lot of stuff that's been going on, and I just felt comfortable lately. I just felt lazy lately, and I just can't explain why all I was feeling what I was feeling this whole entire time. And I just was so frustrated with just who I was and not really having an end goal. You know what I'm saying? Like this, it's been really tough for me to just even focus, to be clear-minded, to be one with all the things that I am doing. It was hard for me to focus. It was hard for me to just stay consistent in all the tasks that I had put on to myself. I had all these great things, like there's plenty of times when I created things to do as far as content. There was things I wanted to do as far as just, I don't know, like creating content for my business, for myself, as a mom, as a wife. Like there were so many different things that I wanted to do, but I just never had the time to actually do it just because I've been just so busy. And I feel like being that I was just so busy, I was just so distracted with everything that was coming my way. I wanted to just quit with liqueur. I'm not gonna hold you. The connection with liqueur has been so bad. Like I have not even posted anything on liqueur since, I don't even know when the last time I posted anything on liqueur. And in this video, like I'm going to be as raw as possible because I feel like sometime as people, I'm not even going to say women, I'm just going to say people in general, sometimes life throws us a curveball and you know how to bounce up from that curveball, and then you just pick up where you left off on. And then sometimes life just want to throw you another curveball, and then it's like, okay, cool, let me piggyback off of this one and let me pick up where I left off and let me just keep going. And then sometimes life just throws you like 2 or 3 curveballs at the same time, and you're like, hold up, wait a minute. I know I'm strong, but I ain't really trying to be that strong right now. Like I'm not trying to go through all of this. So it was like one of those things for me, and I felt like mentally this year Last year, mental was crazy, okay? I would say that. Last year, the mental fight was real. I'm not gonna hold you. So I'm really grateful and thankful that it's nothing of what it once was last year. Like, that shit was crazy. Last year and the year before was really, really crazy. But this year, I felt I was so motivated when I started this year. More motivated than I have ever been ever in my entire life. And I had so many goals. I had so many things I was going to be doing. Start with new projects, start with new opportunities, start with a new mindset on everything. And I was just really, really focused. I just feel like I can't explain it, but I just feel like out of nowhere, things just got really, really crazy. And I really do think it all started with the bleeding situation. That really just took it all off of me. Honestly, no, I'm lying. I really feel like it was the whole New Orleans thing. And I know everyone's saying like, oh, let it go, it happened already, move on from it, it's business, yada 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 yada. I know all of that. I've been in business long enough to know that there's things that are going to come and go when it comes. So I get that, but I feel like it was a little bit more than that, because with everything that I had going on with the whole New Orleans situation, a lot of stress I held in because of that. And with my track record with stress, I think that was the reason why the PCOS even started in my body, because I was just dealing with a lot of stress all at one time, and it was hard for me to digest the stress and allow for the stress to be released in other ways. When I tell you, it's been just that much stuff going on. And with the stress that happened from New Orleans, I was carrying on a lot of weight. If it was just me and James, I feel like I got a hair on me. Every time I do my makeup, I feel like there's a hair somewhere on my face. But if it was just like James and myself, I feel like I could have dealt with that a little bit easier, opposed to it being, okay, so now my mom, my stepdad, you know, they're affected by this too. So I was carrying their weight, you know, with them pretty hard, because I'm like, you know, we got you guys this opportunity, and the money went into this, a lot of opportunity, a lot of time, effort, supplies. I was even to the point where I was like, Lord, don't even worry about LaCora. Like, just get my mom and stepdad straight. Like, make sure they're good. And it came to that point for me, and I was just really stressed. And with that weight, I'm telling you, I think I was already bleeding at that time when we went to New Orleans. It made it worse. I'm someone who cannot stress. I can't stress the fact that I can't stress enough how much I can't stress. Real bad. I couldn't handle that one. I couldn't let that one go just so easily. So it was very triggering for me. And I can understand how that PCOS or whatever the case may be, the bleeding, anything of or any or all of that nature, how it affected me. I need some new products. I don't even know how I'm about to do this makeup look, guys. Like, I have no idea how I'm about to do this makeup look, and I gotta mix these two because I'm running low. So it's been very challenging for me to just get through a lot. I have been really out of the loop. I have just been like distracted. Now, normally when it comes down to me, I'm not someone who's quick to tell everybody my business or the things that I'm going to do. So I just really wanted to be focused for the month of March, because I just have so much planned, and I just feel like I just have not connected with myself, or most importantly, I have not been connecting with God the way I know I should be, or the way I know that I can be. And I feel like I didn't blame or I didn't curse God. I'm also just said, you know what? I want to distance myself because I'm not happy here. I don't know what's going on here right now in this point in my life. I can't figure out why I feel this way. I can't figure out how to be motivated. I can't figure out my next move. When I tell you, my mind has been clogged up with just things that I want to do but don't have the motivation to actually do it. And it's not that I can't do it, it's not that it's above me, it's more so I just found myself becoming lazy because I just couldn't connect. Because the sun going down, I just feel like it's changing the way my makeup's supposed to be looking right now, and it just changed everything. Whatever, if you see it going in and out, that's why. Like I said, normally I don't talk too much about the things that I am planning. I don't talk too much about what I'm working on, what I plan to work on, because I like to just do things in silence. That's who I am, and I'm big on that person. I'm big on not letting my left hand know what my right hand is doing. And I'm a huge fan of that. But because I am going through this, and I was not even gonna do this video, but I did have to get dressed, so I said, you know what, let me just throw some makeup on really quickly, have an excuse to get dressed up. Like I'm telling you, I didn't even want to start going anywhere. I wanted to just leave myself in a house, and I'm not gonna claim depression because I'm not claiming that. I'm even putting that on my life again, and if you are, please stop, because that's not cool for you. But I would say I've just been so stuck in a mood. Can't explain the mood, but I've just been in this particular mood where all I wanted to do was just sit on my beautiful couch and do nothing and just sit back and relax. But I'm like, in this point in my life right now, I literally pray for everything that I am getting right now, and God is like, are you kidding me? You put that much work in, you fought this hard, you went against as many odds as possible. People talked about you, people laughed about you, people said you can't do this, people was going against you, people were saying that you only be able to do this because of this person and all of that good jazz. I paved the way for you. You had one little hiccup, and now you're telling me you just want to exit out. And how many hiccups that I brought you through, and you made it through, and you was healed, and you was happy, and you was financially taken care of, and I was there for you, and I lifted you up when you couldn't even walk anymore. Like, are you telling me I did all of this stuff for you to just stop now? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, Lord, you had to do me like that. Then he also put in my head, remember that time when you wanted to do a particular project and you waited, you held your feet, you yielded, and all of a sudden somebody else came up with that idea? And I was like, you had to do me like that. And then to make matters worse, you ever at one point in your life say, you know what, God know what he's talking about, he tripping right now. Like, he know he tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, he know it's me. Like, you gon', Lord, this is me. This is your daughter. Like, you always have me. What's new now? Like, why are we acting brand new now? I don't know. Have you ever felt so spiritually spoiled that you just knew God was gonna come for you? Like, you don't care. You just knew God was so into you that he ain't gonna play about you, that he's gonna make sure that everything you want is gonna come true. It's gonna come through. It's gonna work out for you. And I feel like that was going on in my life. And I feel like I came to this point where I was just exhausted, and I feel like the enemy was he couldn't stop me, so he made me busy. I put it like that. The enemy couldn't stop me from what I was doing because I was motivated. I was going at one point. I was just going. So many great things was all coming to me all at once, and I just felt like the enemy was just like, nah, she ain't stopped yet. I gotta be the one to stop her. Like, I gotta find something to stop her. But she ain't gonna stop, so I'm not gonna stop her. Instead, I'm gonna get her so busy that she's gonna exhaust herself before she even gets to where she has to go. And I felt like that's where I was. I felt like that's where I was going. I was going to this rate where I was just extremely busy. I was completely tired all the time. I had no energy, and then all of a sudden now the bleeding started all over again. When this bleeding started, God healed me from this situation before. He healed me from the situation where I completely stopped taking birth controls. I completely stopped taking like the other pills, other medicine that the doctors were giving me, and the only pill that I did take was the Dr. Sebi ones. And then at some point I stopped taking the Dr. Sebis, and I was not bleeding whatsoever. I had even a normal period. Like, it was to that T for me. Like, I was completely healed from the issues from this whole PCOS situation. How are you to be tested to know your own strength or weaknesses if you're not tested? I had to go through the whole thing all over again with the bleeding, and the first sign of bleeding, I immediately freaked out. Going through that situation was so traumatic for me. I started getting sad, I started getting angry, I started getting frustrated. Like, what did I do wrong? How come this is happening to me? Like, why is this happening to me? I don't deserve this. I was reading the Bible, I was being faithful to you, I was praying, I was talking to others about you, I was putting people on to this Bible scripture, I was putting people on to this song, I was putting people on to this verse, like I was putting people on to even church or YouTube messages or whatever the case may be. I was praying for people, and why? What did I do to deserve this? Like, what did I do to have this whole thing started all over again? So I just was so frustrated. I knew better to not get frustrated with God. I just feel like I just got so frustrated with the whole process that stress triggered it. So stress kills. Stress is a silent killer. It kills very, very slowly and quietly. Like, stress gets away with murder. It's like I knew better, but then it was so much going on, and I just got so frustrated and annoyed to have to go through this. And I'm like, I'm not even doing anything crazy, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, so what did I do? So then I just caught myself saying, no, I ain't frustrated, no, I ain't mad, I ain't slacking, I'm doing this. And the very things that I kept saying that I'm not doing, I ended up doing. I just have to remember the tongue is extremely powerful. So what you throw out in the atmosphere is gonna bounce back to you. So if you're throwing out, I'm strong, strength is gonna come back to you. If you're throwing out, I'm not lazy, I'm not this, all the universe is hearing is lazy. So it cut off on me. So I'm like, whatever you speak out, it's gonna bounce back to you. I just was starting to be convincing myself that I wasn't getting frustrated. I was trying to convince myself that I'm not upset. I'm trying to convince myself of all of these things. And in the process of me trying to convince myself, I end up being the very thing that I said I'm not. So I became unmotivated. I started slacking in all of my projects, slacking real bad. Then on top of slacking, I just had a clogged mindset. I couldn't focus, I couldn't think, I couldn't figure out my next step to doing stuff. I was unmotivated to do anything, and all I could do was just get really upset, like, why is this not working out for me? Like, why can't I focus? Why can't I get this together? Why can't I get that together? And I want to do this, but I don't have the energy to even push past it. Then I'm saying, okay, so maybe it's the iron that's low. Let me see if I need to get higher iron dosage. But no, that's not working. I'm getting iron, but I'm still tired throughout the day. I'm still fatigued. I'm not claiming depression. So what is my problem? So then I was scrolling on TikTok. Now TikTok, it feels like God knows exactly how to motivate me and to push me into doing exactly what I need to do. But as I'm over there scrolling on TikTok, I'm getting all of these messages like, girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I felt like God was constantly slapping me on TikTok, and I just could not take it no more. And it was just one video. The man was like, all I need you to do is to like, save it, don't send it to nobody, don't say this message was for you, for anybody. He said, no, this message is all the way for you. I don't want no one else to have this message but you. Girl, why you say that? Talked me out of my chair and had me get up. And then I was listening to a message earlier today, like, I realized I was becoming completely lazy and complacent because I was allowing my fatigue to be an excuse to me. I was allowing being tired being an excuse. I was allowing what things aren't working out, or I was just allowing my excuses to be an excuse to not do what I know that I am supposed to be doing. And then I started to get like how do I have the nerve to get frustrated with myself and with God, but not get frustrated with God? I don't know what I was talking about. I was just trying to over here Google, trying to figure out like, why does camera keep overheating so easily? And it's very, very, very frustrating. But anyway, so try to stay focused, and it's easier said than done, because guys, when I tell you I have not been motivated, it has been like a fog. I found myself burying into my issues. So when I say I've been more so focused on my failures than I have my success. I have been distracted by the bleeding more so than trying to figure out ways to be the solution. Because I allowed the bleeding to take so much of my mind, I could not focus. I could not make clear judgments. I could not get my mind right, because now I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so frustrating. This is so annoying. Like, why am I the one who being punished to go through this? Like, what did I do? Going back and forth in your mind just requires and give room for wavering faith. And when you need unwavering faith, it's not gonna happen if you constantly stressed or you're constantly worried. And I was both. I was just stressed and worried, saying I'm gonna leave it in God's hand. Me sitting here still trying to put it into my hands, still trying to take control of the situation, thinking God is not listening or God can't do it, knowing that he can do it and he is listening and he knows my pain. I felt restless. I felt uneased. I felt unorganized. I couldn't get my home organized. I couldn't get my mind right to decor my house. And this is a brand new house. And get my focus together. I couldn't figure out the color scheme that I wanted. I didn't want to deal with anything. I was just trying to escape from the responsibilities of having to do so. All at the same time saying, oh my goodness, I just can't wait to fix up this house, because one thing y'all know about me, I am not big on decorating, and I have not decorated my last 2 houses. So I'm trying to be like really big on decorating with this house, and just being so overwhelmed and so frustrated. I just felt like the enemy was just laughing at me. Like, do you ever get that feeling? Like, I just felt like the enemy was just laughing at me so hard and trying to have it all together at the same time. And then adding Josh's schedule onto our schedule, it was crazy. Then I just wanted to walk away from the core. I'm not gonna hold you. When you have a business, there's gonna be times when you're gonna say, you know what, I give up. I don't want to do this anymore. And I was really feeling myself like getting there. It's not the only time I've ever felt that way. Honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. And having a business, you're going to feel that way a few times. But I just constantly just kept getting frustrated with myself, and I started to dislike the woman that I became, because I'm like, I know that I am way better than the woman that I'm becoming right now. Like, I know that I can do this thing, and I have this opportunity. This person reaching out saying I want to work with you, this person reaching out saying I want to work with you, and I haven't. And I'll sit there and put like hours worth of work to having a month worth of work of content, a month worth of work, period. And can't get organized. I can't sleep. My sleep patterns are horrible. I started to step away from my recording because I can't get creative. I can't be authentic. And as I'm writing my month down, I'm like, this is not something that I really want to do. Opportunities to record and knowing I don't even want to do that opportunity. Like, doing it just because. And then I wasn't really myself in a collaboration. Like, when I'm working and collabing, I like to be myself. I don't like to have different ideas from other people and what they've been doing, because I want to be true and authentic to who I am. I'm not sitting there trying to be like this person on my content looking like that person. But when you can't focus, you're like, listen, I just want this opportunity. I just want to get this content out and say that I got it out. And that's where I was getting. So I even like started to step away or distance myself from recording. I felt like I was ignoring my responsibilities. You know how long I've been saying that I was going to clean these makeup brushes? Probably the start of this year, and I still have not cleaned these makeup brushes. So what I did was I just bought more makeup brushes. That's more work to do. Or there was some old makeup brushes that I said, you know, I never used these brushes before. Let me try these brushes. When I was moving, I found a whole lot of makeup stuff. So I said, oh, great. I have new makeup brushes that I'm not going to clean. Then you're trying to figure out why my face is breaking out. Maybe it's the things that you're using, and maybe it's the things that you're not doing, Dominique. Let's think on that. So I ended up putting on my lashes. It ain't much. I ain't even go too heavy like I normally do. But girl, when I tell you, it's just been a lot going on, and just a lot for me just to be focused. And I even caught myself, like, when it was time for me to even spend time with God, I even caught myself being so distracted where I couldn't even focus on the Bible. And that's when I knew something wasn't right with me. Like, I knew it was me, but I knew in that moment, it definitely was me, because I could not focus while I was reading my Bible. I could not focus with God whatsoever. It didn't matter how hard I tried. It didn't matter, like, what I was reading, like, I couldn't connect with it. I'm not saying that I didn't have understanding, and I did, but I felt myself thinking about everything else that I had to do and not doing what I normally do. It's like praying the distractions away. I was just so focused on, all right, I know I gotta do this, I know I gotta do that, so let me hurry and get this out the way. And then I'm praying to God, like, Lord, I'm not trying to, almost dropped that, I'll be upset. But I'm like, Lord, you know, I'm not here trying to make spending time with you a chore, but I feel myself doing that. And one thing, when I went to one of my pastors before, the church that I actually got baptized in, his name was Pastor Mayo. One of his sermons was being hot for God. And I'm like, what is he talking about? So being hot for God basically means being honest, being open, and being teachable. And one thing I am going to be with the Lord, I am going to be honest now, because the Lord is my best friend. Like, that's just that right there. I am going to be honest and be like, Lord, I don't like this. Or I don't like this person. I don't like what I just went through. I don't like going through this situation. I don't like this, or I do like this, or whatever the case may be. But I just felt myself being really open and honest with God and letting him know, listen, I ain't used to this. But that's what happened when you're a spiritual spoiled brat. Like, you expect, no, like, you know, God's gonna do this. Like, I don't care. And he's gonna do it my way. And that's that. But that's, you know, that's not the case. So when things were not going my way, I got really spoiled. Now, when it comes down to my parents, to my husband, when I get spoiled, I get my way. I'm not gonna hold you. I get my way. And I was treating God like he them. And God said, just because they do that for you, don't mean I'm about to sit here and do this with you now. Don't think I'm about to just sit here and bend over however you want for me to bend over and then expect for me to sit here and this light just cut off on me. But as someone who recording, you gonna have you a light somewhere. Let me hurry before this one dies. So, like, just being like so spiritually spoiled, I just got so used to being spoiled. Let me calm down. You know what I'm saying? Just like calm down. And before I forget, there was this movie, and I'm gonna get back to topics, and it's on Netflix, and it's called The Shack. That movie put so much like into perspective for me. And if you're someone who's looking to seek God, if you're someone who's looking to have like your own personal relationship with God, or if you're someone who's, you know, like just like question God for a little bit, go watch that movie and let me know what you think. Now, that movie is one of those movies where the enemy may try you immediately, because he definitely tried me. And even watching that movie, I was very stubborn. I was stubborn. I stopped going to church. I'm not going to talk too much about that movie because that movie is one of those movies you have to see it for yourself. I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's one of those movies like you have to physically go see that movie yourself because it's that freaking good. And I watched that movie like twice. I watched it with my mom the first time, then I watched it with James the second time. But I told her about it, and the moment she watched it, she was like, she just started crying. And you are going to cry, but it's going to open your eyes about God, and it's going to open your eyes about yourself. It's one of those self-check videos, but at the same time, it's one of those videos where you're gonna be real focused. The best bet is to make sure that your phone is on do not disturb, so that you can really give your time to yourself and your time to God. It's like a form of Bible study without, you know, Bible study, the traditional way of Bible study. So all that to say, watch the movie. After I watched that movie, I caught myself still. I didn't even spend time with God to like really talk about the movie, and I just was really busy, and I just was really just trying to focus on what to do, what's the next step. And the next step was the very thing that God already told me to do. I was just being so disobedient. And I'm not going to tell you that part. We all go through this point in our life, probably more than once, more than twice, however many times we go through this. Is one, not to say that you actually failed the test. I just feel like sometimes you have to remember where you came from. You have to remember, maybe you're in the form of judgmental to somebody else. Maybe you have to realize you're not as perfect as you thought you were. Maybe whatever the case may be, whatever the maybe may be, that's between you and God to figure that maybe out. I am actually getting everything that I pray for. This look actually came out cute. But the one thing that I did have that I was not grateful for, or even if I was grateful for it, I forgot how grateful I was for it because I just took advantage of being grateful for it, which was my peace, my joy, my happiness. I completely just forgot about those things. And when I'm talking right now, don't think I'm fixed. Like, I'm still to this day working on it. Like today, I was completely upset this morning. I was frustrated this morning with the bleeding. I was like, oh my goodness, like why me? Why am I going through this? What's the point of this? What am I not doing right? Like, what am I focusing on? What should I focus on? All at the same time being so distracted that I could not pay attention to anything of what I was working on, When I was even doing my nails, it took me like 4 or 5 nail polishes, and at first they were so dark and gloomy, and I was like, I don't want nail polish that's dark and gloomy. I want something that's a little bit bright. And the original plan was to go with yellow, but in the midst of doing my nails, I even changed my nail colors like 3 or 4 times, and each time I said, nope, this is not it, nope, this is not it. It had to be the Holy Spirit that said, girl, didn't we say yellow in the beginning? That's your problem. You pray for the answer. When you get the answer, you satisfied with it, you like it, you enjoy the answer. But when you're doing it, you forget what we just talked about and you start doing your own thing. And when you do your own thing, you don't like how it came out, you don't like how you feel, you don't like whatever the case may be, get to doing the things that I say, because I know what you need, I know what you want, I know your heart desires. If I'm not listening to God, if God is giving me his instructions and I'm not listening, how is he going to give me his instructions for the other things that I pray for that's down the line? And if I don't fall into place with listening and being obedient for the simple things, how am I supposed to get the bigger things if I can't even listen to the little things, which is nail polish? And then the moment I put this yellow nail polish on, I was like, oh yeah, this is the nail polish. And it's like, oh, the whole time that was the plan. Stick to the plan. So it's me being obedient, patient in the plan, and having to realize, Dominique, it's not what you want to do. I felt like never gonna call myself God. Well, I'll never say never, but I will not call myself God. But I will say this, and we done with the look. I'm just talking to you now. But I will say this, and I will be quicker. But I will say this, like, I was so comfortable and so used to God making a way for me that I forgot that there are still times God is going to say no. And when he say no, is he still not good? Yes, he's still great. He's still God, because all the times he said yes, he could have said no. There's a reason for his no. Do I need to know the reason for his no? I don't need to know the reason. I want to know the reason. But that's being spiritually spoiled. I am spiritually spoiled, and I know this. I just was not being able to connect with myself. I was not connecting with God. I was being lazy in everything, saying that I'm not upset at God, but more so just irritated that God didn't do it how I wanted to. We're being open and honest, no judgment zone here. Okay, I was just being really irritated that God was not doing it the way that I want, but he did not bring me here to do what I wanted to do. He brought me here to do what he wanted to do in my life. And I feel like the moment you actually let go of doing what you want to do, that's when God is going to show himself strong in me and in you. And listen, I'm not here to say that I'm a preacher, I'm a pastor, I'm a minister, I'm a whatever. I'm none of that. I am someone who is just trying to get it right with the Lord and fail majority of the time of the day. I realized that I was not being consistent with reading my Bible like I should. I was listening to the wrong music. I started drinking more wine. It's like every time I say I wanted to be doing something on the right path, that's when the temptation or the test come. But it's those things right there that I felt that I just kept going deeper into this pit of failure. I kept going deeper into this pit of disliking myself and distancing myself from God. God was there the whole time, and I saw someone on TikTok say, when a person is next to you, they don't have to scream. That lets me know God is next to me. He don't have to scream. He's watching me. Then I had multiple meltdowns. I had brain fog. I was not taking my iron pills like I should, was not sticking to my schedule, questioning God's direction, distancing myself from others, not going to church like I said I was, and just not doing the things that I said I was going to do, ignoring my responsibility, eating the wrong foods, allowing excuses to creep in, wanting to stay to myself. I was very moody, frustrated, empty, distant. Like, look, and I left that like that for a reason. So you can see how I still have boxes in here that I did not unbox. Why? Because I was just being very inconsistent. I was unorganized. I was just being all the things that I should not be. I'm still on a path to getting it right. I'm still on a path to trying to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's why I said, let me do this video, because I know I'm not the only one who's struggling with this. And guys, I just said all of that to say this. Like I said in the beginning, I don't normally talk about the projects or my plans until they're done, especially not to everyone. So with me being able to talk about what I'm going to do in March, it also just pushes me to make sure that I am doing it. Normally, the only people who know any project that I am doing is God, my husband, my parents. That's it. That's it, 4. So for me to expose my March plan and have already prayed over my March plans so that nothing the enemy tries to throw out my way negatively against me, it ain't gonna work. God got it covered. It's just me just pushing myself to be better. It's me just time to tap in. And I feel like sometimes we just really have to tap into our goals, to our dreams, things that we have planned. Anyone who wants to do content and everything, you have videos in your camera that you have created probably like months ago and you didn't post it. There's hobbies that you want to do or whatever it is. I just feel like just do it. And I feel like for the month of March, that's what I want to do. I'm calling this my motivational March. What I say? Hold on. I got my planner to help me stay organized. This is my March and I am planning to work on that. So for the month of March, I am calling it motivational March, making marching moves. I know it sounds cheesy, but hey, and manifesting March. It's a lot. But at the end of the day, someone else is doing it and I can too do this and succeed. And the month of March is my success month and it's my month to push myself, to be intentional with myself, with God, is to be intentional with God, to be obedient with God, follow his instructions the first time he say it, and not want the life that I want, but the life that God has created for me. Not used to talking like this on my platform, but I want to get used to talking like this on my platform, talking about God, because I want to make room for him in anything that I am touching, doing, or walking into. So walking into this month, I am definitely putting God first. He is getting the first of this month. First video of March is being dedicated to God, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for coming to my channel. And if you're returning Serenity Within, a family member, hey girl, hey, let's do this together. And if this is your first time, we're gonna do this together as well. This video was meant to come to you for a reason. I pray that we allow God to be God in our lives and just flow and let things just work out for us the way it ought to work out for us, and just accept it. Sometimes we get what we pray for, and sometimes we get what we need, sometimes we get what we want, but sometimes we just get what we get. And you can't help what you get, and you just gotta learn to accept, to flow, relax, and let it go, and let God be in the things that you get through life. So that's it. That's the look. I gotta hurry up, get dressed, I gotta leave. But guys, see you in my next video.